Hello and welcome to this new episode of Bootstrapping Your Dreams Show. I'm your host Manuj Aggarwal, and today we have a power couple, Todd and Cindy. So Todd is the president and CEO at Advantage Homes and Realty World, Todd Su and Company Inc., the largest modular home dealer in the state of California. And of course, Cindy is his partner. We'll talk about Cindy in the interview, but we prepared the intro for Todd, and luckily we had Cindy join us, so that's amazing. I'll just go through the intro once again. So Todd's leadership, drive, and customer-centric approach has fueled the impressive growth of Advantage Homes, making the company a nationally known brand and a multi-million-dollar business annually. He's a self-made, award-winning entrepreneur, founder, thought leader, and philanthropist with over 25 years of success in the modular home, real estate, hotel, and mortgage financing industries. Todd has opened his first manufacturing home dealership back in 1996 with a mission to establish more affordable housing solutions than traditional site-built homes in order to serve one of the fastest-growing, most competitive markets in the U.S. As a recognized industry expert, Todd has been awarded countless awards since the inception of Advantage Homes, being five-time winner of the Manufactured Home Institute's Retailer of the Year Award and California Manufactured Housing Institute's 2015 Retailer of the Year Award. Cindy, his wife, happens to be his business partner and have been called the couple that cares. Todd and his family are also associated with various social causes, namely housing for families in need, down payment assistance for U.S. military veterans, funding orphanages in Vietnam, building schools, and more. Todd was honored twice with the City of San Jose's Community's Honoree Award by San Jose Mayor Sam Liccardo and Councilman Tam Nguyen. In his free time, Todd enjoys spending time with his family, playing basketball, tennis, and golf. And you can check out his morning walks and a very delicious-looking breakfast shot on Facebook. Welcome, Todd and Cindy. I'm so excited to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you for having us, Manuj. We're very honored, and we're excited to be on the show.
Awesome.
Likewise.
All right, great. So you've had a tremendously successful career. You've built a multi-million-dollar business in a unique industry, I will say. I think it's still a new industry, modular home building. So can you walk us through your journey? How did you even come up with this idea? I'm sure when you started, it must have been literally a new invention, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, thanks, Manuj, for the question, and thanks for the awesome intro. That's incredible that you were able to get all that information. I think our journey was 20 years overnight success story, to be honest. And it was basically us. Initially, I was very young and I had an entrepreneurial spirit. I had originally wanted to become a tennis coach and wanted to have my own private tennis coaching unit and company. But obviously, I was trying to figure out how to fund it by doing odd jobs, ending up working at gas stations, cleaning toilets, and finally got the opportunity to save enough money to get into the real estate housing market. And Cindy and we ended up seeing a vision of affordable housing in the Bay Area. And we ended up seeing that there was a need for, the families that were making $50,000, $70,000 to have some type of housing. A lot of them, were ending up renting and not being able to afford buying a regular house, a single family home. So a manufactured home or modular home, we felt was the right niche for us to jump into. And we were very, very blessed to meet the right folks to guide us in the right direction. And as we grew our team together, it was never always just, hey, we got successful. We ended up going into communities and ended up getting chased by dogs. We were trying to save 10 cents for postage. And even though it was illegal to solicit, we didn't have that much money. So we ended up going out there and handing out flyers and putting it on doorsteps. And we just saw the need. And as our business grew, we saw, hey, we could help more and more people fill a need and feel good about what we do in the industry, in an industry that's rewarding.
That's awesome. That's great. And so I want to bring this up. When did Cindy join? Like, did you start the business together, or did you join later? How was that?
I joined Todd about 3 years later after I figured out that dental school wasn't the right career for me. So I left dental school for Todd. No, I'm just kidding. To pursue an affordable housing dream that we see together we can help many, many more people.
So I have to ask here, a lot of people, when asked, will you work with your spouse, and they just basically say that's impossible. That's never going to happen. In fact, I had the opportunity to work with my wife for maybe 6 months or so, and that was all we could take. So we promised never to do that again.
It takes a very patient man.
Yeah, I bet. But tell us your secrets. How do you make it happen?
I guess I'll go first, and then Cindy can go next. I think we're kind of the yin and yang. I think it takes people, one of the two, to be patient, obviously. And when something comes up, the story when you go into the car and she says make a right turn, and it's actually supposed to be a left turn. You take a deep breath and you make a right turn anyways, follow her direction. And when you get lost, you just head on down the right road and avoid the argument and just head on down. So there has to be one. Cindy's a little bit more of the firecracker. I'm a little bit more of the patient person. So before I say anything or make a rash or quick decision, I love to kind of take a breath and try to put it in a way that works for both sides, that's not in a way condescending or telling a person what to do, just my thoughts, my opinions, and form it in a more of a form of a question together. And then, but it also takes someone that's great like Cindy, who also has tremendous ideas. We both have great vision. We both have exuberant personalities where we're excited about what we do every day. But Cindy can kind of share a little bit more about how she can handle me a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, I think the most important thing for us is start each day positive by listening to, meditation or positive podcast. We also have this one thing that we like to stick to our vision, but be more flexible with the plans. So if things changes, environments and business and market changes, we talk about it and we make changes to our plan, but the main vision is still moving forward and try to accomplish common goal.
And I think date night is very, very important, where we get our own separate time, where we shut things down. When we get home from work, we stay in the car a little bit longer to wrap up any calls. And when we get in the house, it's business is done. It's over, and it's time for kids. We want to come in and be able to hug the kids, not be on the phone while we're coming into the house. And be excited and be present. I mean, you have to be present with your family, with your wife, and having that separate time as well, because obviously we have two beautiful kids, 10 and 12-year-old, Vincent and Victoria. They light up our life, and they're the reasons why we do what we do these days.
That's amazing. I think you have saved a few 100,000 marriages right there, and if you could end the interview here, that will be tremendous value to everyone. Well, let's keep going. So you started the business. So in 1996, was modular housing a thing, or did you have to figure things out how to do this, how to accomplish your vision?
It was a different industry. We started in the real estate industry, and there was a lot of competitors, a lot of competition, a lot of people who were doing the same thing. And we looked at it, and honestly, my family came over from Vietnam, and we were refugees, and we couldn't own a home, a regular house. So we saw that, there are people living in, manufactured homes, mobile homes. And we got lucky to get into the industry, and we said, you know what, this is a solution for a lot of the refugees, a lot of the people who can't really afford, who's not making six figures. And we just happened upon the business, but we saw the vision eventually that especially in the Bay Area in San Jose, Silicon Valley, that housing prices are $1 million for a townhouse in this area. in some cases. So where are all of my friends going to live? How are all of my friends going to stay in town? And this is a tremendous stepping stone. And if you don't know, these manufactured homes look exactly like regular houses. If you walk into them, they're like the Taj Mahal. They're beautiful. And if you were to do a Zoom call inside of one, you would not be able to tell, the difference between that and beautiful Toll Brothers, KB homes. And obviously it's morphed into a commercial business as well. So a lot of commercial businesses and hotels have now embraced modular housing. It cuts out about, I would say, any between 8 months to a year and a half of build time, which is tremendous in the hospitality industry. Maybe not at this moment, but in general, the hospitality industry, it's about getting that return quicker. And now they're actually giving subsidies through large industries as Marriott and Hilton are actually starting to give subsidies to those that build modular style, and they find that it's safer. And some of the large buildings in San Francisco, some of the hotels in San Francisco, it's not publicized, but all of those like 1,000 to 2,000 unit, hotels are built modular style. Wow. So it's embraced by a lot of different industries. It's been tested, and it's very different.
That's great. And so how, you had a dream to go into tennis coaching, and Cindy, you were going into dental practice. How did you manage to muster up the courage to give up all that for a brand new industry, brand new venture? How did that happen?
For me, Todd was born and raised in San Jose. So the culture and the way the business he created a business that's attract me. He's a straight shooter. He's very honest and loyal, and he has great vision for underprivileged families and stuff like that. So as I went through dental school, I realized that wasn't the correct career for me, because I always want to look good and with my lashes on, and typical dentists don't wear makeup. So I decided this is not for me. So what I did was I wanted to see if there's any other career that would serve a better purpose. So as I was searching for my career, I was talking to my professor at the time, and she happened to be Todd's sister, and I didn't know. Yeah, so she introduced us, and we went on a blind date, and we share common interest, common goal, and that's how we end up getting to know each other.
Oh, I got to tell you a story. The first time I met Cindy, we actually met for the first time, our blind date was at an In-N-Out burger. So we met in the parking lot of an In-N-Out burger. This 95-pound Vietnamese young girl comes out of this big red Dodge Durango with these eyelashes, high heels, and wanting to talk business to me. And I was, honestly, I got to say, I was a little intimidated. I was like, wait a second, she looks a little high maintenance. I don't know how this is going to work out, but let's just get out there. But we ended up, going to this restaurant called the Pepper Mill. We went upstairs and we talked for hours and hours, and we found that intellectually we matched really well. And she's not bad looking either, so hey, it didn't work out really well. So yeah, I'm sorry, I just had to share that story.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So how from the In-N-Out burger, and now you guys are power couple, couple that cares. So how did you get that name?
Yeah, I think
a lot of the people that we mentor, they made up that name.
Yeah, a lot of the folks that we end up mentoring and spending time with, I think, mentioned that. But for us, I think it's all about delivering value, trying to figure out how to deliver value, not for just our customers, but for our employees and staff. Mm-hmm. So we always try to figure out, Cindy, you can mention a little bit about your vision on what your dream is for all of our company and our team and all of that. We have a wonderful team, by the way, 180 wonderful people that work with us, together with us.
Yeah, we're very blessed to have a wonderful team behind us. We can't accomplish what we have today without them. Many of them have been with us for 14 years, 16 years. Some of them are 18 years. Wow. Average employee work for us is about 8 to 9 years. So we always put our employees first. Our agents and employees first, because they're wonderful people. So many people ask us, how do you manage 8 different businesses and still be together? So, the truth is our staff and agents are amazing. So we don't have to manage so much of that.
Yeah. So caring wise, the reason why they call us the couple that cares, number one, is we contribute a lot to the to our areas and where we live and where we come from. We were blessed to be able to donate a home to a family that they lost 2 10-year-olds and an uncle, and they didn't have insurance. So Cindy and I, we felt like this is an opportunity to help a family out. So even though it was a lot of money for us, $300,000 to build this home for this family, we wanted everyone to understand that it's more about giving back. We spend time giving 1,000 backpacks every year. We've given over 10,000 backpacks that kids come out and jump at us every year and come and give us a hug and say thank you. And we are not just ones that just put money out. We actually like to spend our weekends to go out there, and we hand them out in the heat in some cases, and it makes us smile. That's what really makes us tick. I mean, Cindy's really and I's dream about getting everyone to have matching 401k. We've made that happen. We're trying to figure out how to get dry cleaning to all of our employees and staff. We want each one to have a brand new car if they want one. We want to help them with owning their own home. We want to have them self-sufficient. We pay for their education when they want to learn. We're just excited about giving back value and trying to help others that deserve it, obviously. And our team, a wonderful team, and then obviously the people and the people that support our businesses in our different areas, we try to support them as well.
That's amazing. Amazing work. And I watched that video of you gifting that house. That was very, very touching. So that was amazing that you did for someone who was in real need. So that's great. Now I want to ask you, you grew up, or probably your parents grew up in a different part of the world, and you've had a multicultural experience growing up. How much of that contributed towards your growth, or the way that you think, or the way that you work?
To be honest with you, that actually you've touched on something really key. I think that's where our passion has come from. Just seeing, and not necessarily just people that are from different cultures, different ethnicities, just people that don't have the same opportunity. And we're blessed to be born in the United States, and Cindy to live here, and for us to have the opportunity here. Those who don't have the opportunity to own a single family home, and giving them the opportunity to own a manufactured home or modular home is something that we're proud of. I mean, I think sometimes when you own a condo or a townhouse, you don't have pure ownership, where you don't have shared walls, where you hear the next door neighbor talking. When you own a manufactured home, you have your own walls, you have your own parking, you have your own place. This is your kingdom. Mm-hmm. And some of those people kind of switch that and they end up selling their mobile home. They create some equity and the tax write-off, and they end up buying a single family home. And it was a beautiful story. This woman came by and dropped off a bottle of wine for me about 8 months ago. And I had actually sold her a mobile home, and then she bought a single family home. And she told me she wanted to drop off a bottle of wine for us because she just started crying because her and her son, who are both making about $50,000, would never have been able to live in the single family home if they didn't start by just buying that one mobile home. Mm-hmm. So having, seeing people that are from Vietnam just come over, especially when I just came over, and from Cindy, when my family came over, and when Cindy came over, she sees a lot of opportunity. Actually, I think Cindy really struggled growing up, and she appreciates what America brings. So maybe Cindy can share. She has an awesome story about how she grew up in Vietnam and the struggles that she had.
Yeah, please share.
Oh, since you mentioned it, I'm going to do a short version of that.
Thank you.
So I wasn't born and raised in America. I was born and raised in Vietnam, and so that's why I still have the accent, as you can tell. I came here when I was 15 years old. But my dad left us, my mom and 2 brothers, in Vietnam when I was 5 years old. Oh. And it took him about 8 years later to realize that, hey, there's another family in Vietnam. So he sponsored us over here. But during the 8 years living with no dad, father figured I struggled at 8 years old. I dropped out of school at the 2nd grade and started selling balloons on the street. And throughout the years, I've learned to recruit other kids similar to my situation and help me build a team of four kids walking around the village and try to sell a balloon. And that was my business at 8 years old. And I built that for 4 years. And finally, grandma caught me skipping school and took me back home and wanted to provide me a better life. So I moved in with grandma and learned a little bit of English and got back to third grade. She put me back to study third grade at 12 years old. It was an embarrassment for me, but I embraced it. I became a teacher aide, and eventually my dad, 2 years later, my dad decided to sponsor us over to the United States.
Amazing.
Yeah. So I when I got here, I really appreciate the opportunities and what America have provided and the freedom to dream. And I love that about it.
That's a beautiful story. Yeah.
And one thing Cindy forgot to share was what was interesting is she actually had at second 2 years to second grade, she actually, in order to compete with the other kids, because there were other kids also selling balloons, because she was artistic, she actually drew on the balloons and put little animals on the balloons, and she could sell the balloon for more money. So she actually at that point knew how to add value. She knew how to get a selling strategy at a very young age. So she's very, she's humble. She doesn't want to share that, but I thought that was, when I heard that, I was like, wow, be good to have her on my team.
Yeah, and she was already preparing, getting her hands on making things more beautiful.
Yes, and that's why I can't become a dentist. See?
So that's a very touching story, and I noticed that you have a lot of books behind you, and the way that you got into school at 12 years of age, and acquired this knowledge. And I know you have a passion for books as well. So can you share with us how this education and books and knowledge has played a role in your life?
Well, I didn't start reading books until Todd and I formed a business together. At that time, we couldn't afford to pay for marketing, so we have to go pass out flyers, and get chased by dogs. So we couldn't afford a mentorship. We couldn't afford coaching, business coaching at the time. So I turned my passion into reading more books. So hopefully I'll harvest some golden nuggets from there and then help us run the business together. And again, we know that a couple can never work together. There was like a study done. They said it's only 5% of the married couple can survive. But, we had nothing to lose anyway. So, and we told each other, what worse can happen and we can start again because we're still young. So that was like going into it with, like, fearless of failure. And I think that would help a lot. And by reading books, and the more we read, the more we enjoyed it more. I think just find the book that interests you and then go for it,
And Cindy shared some of the golden nuggets. And at that time, I was so busily hustling, making sales. And Cindy was putting out the flyers for us. And she was actually putting up signs and all that good stuff to try to, make things happen and save us some money to try to grow the company. But she shared those golden nuggets. I go, wow, this reading thing's pretty good. Why don't we find some more stuff? And it was amazing. We started, a whole new world started to open up. We got to meet a lot of great mentors and learn great things in these books. And we implemented a lot of these strategies and thought processes. And that really keyed our growth. And on top of obviously fueling our passion to give value and to help others succeed. I think that was huge. And we got tremendous nuggets out of all of
If I may explain why we have the book wall like this. Initially, we were going to design just a typical book library, but we wanted to inspire our children to read. And as I know, when I take them to the bookstore, they look at the cover, the colorful cover, and then they picked it up. So Todd suggested me to say, honey, why don't you build the bookshelf that have the book facing out so the kids can look at it? And that's how the idea started.
That's amazing. That's great. And so, from what I understand, you run and manage 8 companies between you. Yeah.
Yes, we do.
So how do you manage all that? Like, give us some business advice. A lot of lot of entrepreneurs in the audience, they are generally bogged down even running one company, and they struggle with even managing that and balancing their work life. How do you manage 8 companies and manage to devote this much time to reading, to family, and all the other wonderful things in life?
And running, right? And running.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the main way is, again, a lot of thought process went into reading more and getting to talk to mentors that could help us to see, that have been down the same road that we've been through. So, it's 2 deals is too much until you do 3 deals, and 3 deals is too much until you do 6 deals, and 6 deals is too much until you do 10 deals. So we've tried to manage our time very efficiently, but at the same time, put out time for our team, but in segments where you don't waste too much time, and you set aside time where you can share and have dinner together with your team and be able to spend that time. But I think, initially, getting up a lot earlier. Initially, that wasn't one of my biggest things, but I started to understand how valuable it is. If you ask me what is the most difficult thing for me to do in my life, was number 1, to learn how to run. Number 2 is to wake up. Business side is not as difficult. I think just getting discipline and trying to get, the cliche goes, 1% better. And obviously, you want to illuminate those things that are bogging you down, that's slowing you down. So as we try to take things on, we don't try to do 10 things at the same time. We focus, we plan the day before. It's so important and huge the day before to map out your day so it's efficient. And we're not perfect, but obviously, there's some days that we're going full tilt, but it's implementing all the things that we had planned and having goals throughout each quarter, each month, each week to accomplish those goals and finish off those goals. And the key is not to beat yourself up so much if you don't accomplish those goals at that moment. It's okay if you don't finish it, but as long as it's on there and it's understood that you're going to take care of it the next day. The problem is people don't go with a plan the next day. They don't have a plan. They're not going to execute it, and they don't get specific. You have to get super laser focused, I believe, and we believe, on what you're going to do between 10 and 11. Not just, hey, I'm going to take care of 20 items. I don't believe in a full to-do list. A to-do list doesn't work. A to-do list with action is what works. So if you say 10 to 11, I'm going to do these 3 tasks, and then nothing's going to stop you. That person that walks into the office and says, can I talk to you for a minute, Todd? I say, sure, I'll talk to you 1 minute. You can take care of it in 1 minute. If not, then let's schedule a different time. If not, come on back and I'll schedule a time with you. If not, I have these 3 items we have to complete. And then balance between that and trying to balance family. Like I said, once we get out of the car, it's done. Yeah. Because honestly, you also need a time to recharge, to go back and develop ideas and just sit back and then let your mind relax. And then that way you can pound it the next day, and then you can go with that energy and that same fervor. And I really strongly believe that a lot of it is attached to health. Ever since we began to run more, our energy level's a lot higher. We sleep a lot earlier. And there's a lot of things we've begun to implement. I mean, doing a digital sunset also between 8:30 and 9, where we stopped the iPhones, we stopped the computers, we stopped the blue light, and we feel so much more refreshed and new. So I probably went off a little too far on that tangent,
but great words of wisdom. So it seems like you have taken a lot of time to prioritize the right things in your life and plan things out, and obviously just take action and accomplishing those goals, which is a tremendous framework for success. Now, along with success, comes a lot of mistakes, a lot of things that are outside of our control. So can you share with us any mistakes that you may have made during your career that other people may run into and they can avoid them?
So you want to go first?
Well, yes, my mistake are I get too many ideas and I tend to make quick decisions. And thanks to Todd, he always calm me down and say, honey, let's look at it again. Let's sleep overnight, think about it, and we'll talk tomorrow. So my mistake was that. So over the years, I've learned to be more patient.
That's great.
Yeah. For myself, I think again, failure is actually a victory to me or to us. I think initially the whole thought process of failure and losing a sale or losing a listing, it used to make me lose sleep. It used to take me back. But now, again, opening up my mind to reading and spending more time talking with mentors and sharing all these things and manifesting different things, I don't let those things bother me anymore. We feel that we deliver so much value to our clients, to our team. We can't let one thing bog us down. So we feel that the failure actually has actually made us better. So you learn from those failures and you improve from those failures. You just don't let it happen again, but don't dwell on them. I think too often, we dwell on them. And for us specifically, I think I initially, when we first got into the business, we were so worried about getting the sale, trying to figure out how to get the customer to buy the property or to buy the home or to buy that insurance policy or whatever the case may be. I think that what you want to do is you want to focus on the thought process of hey, how am I going to deliver value to the customer? How am I going to help them to get what they want, and then indirectly it'll come. There have been cases, as we've learned in our career, we've come over to someone's house, and the senior that thought that going out to rent would be a better deal for her, we told her, you know what? You need to stay in this home. Don't sell your home. But Todd, you're not gonna make money if you don't list my home. I understand that, but it's not the right decision for you. After you've explained to me what you need and your needs are, it doesn't make sense. So why do that? And indirectly, we figured out that, hey, you know what? That lady, that 80-year-old woman told everybody on the block to list their home with us. We ended up getting 4 sales instead of 1. And she would literally knock on our door and go, hey, you're not selling your home with anybody else except for Todd and Cindy. That's it. And so, by manifesting, by doing the right things, by looking after what the client wants, or again, our employees want, and giving them value, it comes back in spades indirectly.
That's great. And so it seems like you play the long game, not just get immediate profit, but build long-term relationships, which, as you said, which comes back exponentially. So now coming back to the current situation, we are going through this once in a lifetime sort of experience with the pandemic and everything. So according to you, what is the outlook for housing, modular housing, or any kind of housing? Do you see any major shifts coming because of this situation in terms of where people want to live, how they want to live?
Well, that's a great question, Manuj. I think that the whole industry is going to change. I believe that it actually is going to put a green light on trying to build things faster, more efficiently. Obviously, we have difficulty with finding more skilled labor out there. So I think things like manufactured homes and modular housing, and even real estate right now, I think for the higher end homes right now, we're seeing where homes are dropping prices a little bit, and people are going to be a little more hesitant on the luxury side. But on the lower end side, obviously, there's obviously going to be people who really need to buy homes. And there's actually a surplus of, especially in the Bay Area, in Northern, Southern California areas, we see, and nationally, we see that there's so many people that have kind of been on the fence about purchasing homes. And now they came out of the woodwork now and said, hey, you know what, here's an opportunity for us to buy. But I think ongoing, I think that everyone's just going to be about quicker turnaround, not more long-term. Like, for example, you'll see McDonald's and Burger King right now building commercial. They're not building these big mammoths where they're going to sit there for 100 to 200 years. Mm-hmm. You're seeing Burger King and McDonald's build up, bare walls, very small structures, very simple structures, modular style, and building them quick. And because they know they're going to tear them down in 30 years because the style is going to be out. Yeah. So I think our whole industry is going to change. I think and the majority of housing is going to be built underneath a warehouse. It's going to be built under, can you imagine building a house within 6 weeks versus a year or 2 years, and having your contractor go to your bathroom, in your house for a whole year, and have your wife or spouse yell at you and saying, hey, you know what, why is this person here so long? The modular housing, the manufactured home industry, especially now that the quality has gone up another level, where it's on par with Toll Brothers, with KB, with all the regular housing builders. We personally see all of our housing is going to be built that way. So I think the real estate industry looks strong as far as the manufactured, the affordable housing industry. We're a little concerned, obviously, about the high end and luxury. It may take a hit for a little while, but obviously there's going to be places where people really need to live.
Well, that's great. It sounds like you are very well positioned to take advantage of this shift, which you're already doing. But I agree, it's going to accelerate. So that's great. Now, thank you so much for being with us. That's all the time we had. This has been a wonderful conversation. Now, before we let you go, can you tell us how people can reach out and connect with you?
Yeah, you could text us on 55678, and we actually have a gift for some of your viewers. Thank you for reviewing. You can text the number 55678. Text the word TCSU. Text the word TCSU to 55678, and Cindy and I will give you our 10 tips for business and love and staying together and working together if those of you struggle. And just to be honest with you, when we had some struggles early on in our relationship, it was hard for us to find someone to share it with. And so now it's kind of nice that we can help others do the same thing. And thank you again for sharing us on your awesome podcast. We love listening. And those of you guys that don't watch. Manuj has some awesome viewers out there. He has some awesome podcasts and some great golden nuggets for you to share. So get out there and take a listen.
Thank you so much. Now I want to remind you, we have a global audience. So, they won't be able, like people from outside US may not be able to text you. So for them, how do they connect with you?
They can go ahead and find us on our Facebook, which is my Facebook, which is Todd Su, or my LinkedIn, which is also Todd Su, TODD space SU. And we also have a website. Cindy, you have the website? Oh, okay, so the website's coming up as we speak. It's going to be toddcindysu.com. So you'll see us there as well.
Awesome. That's great. So we'll put those links in the show notes. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Manuj.
Have a good one.
Bye.
You too.